Luna's Nocturne, a dangerous game with the youngest Spencer after weeks of absence, whispers, and speculation. Luna Nozawa reappeared in Los Angeles unannounced, uninvited, and undeniably different. The sweet, conflicted girl who had once charmed Forrester Creations was gone. In her place stood a version of Luna few recognized, impulsive, calculating, and fueled by a volatile mix of obsession and ambition. Her return wasn't quiet for long. Within days, she had plunged the youngest Spencer, Will, into a web of manipulation that neither he nor the powerful families around him saw coming. Her first move was subtle. Anonymous text messages sent to Will's private number. Cryptic lines like, "You think you're safe because you're silent. And you left someone behind." At first, Will dismissed them. He assumed it was spam, or maybe some petty attempt at trolling. But Luna knew him. She knew the right emotional triggers to poke. She knew about his loneliness, his constant effort to live up to the Spencer name, and most of all his desire to be seen as more than just Bill Spencer's son. The messages escalated. Photos to grainy shots of Will at school, with friends, outside Spencer publications. The line between real threat and twisted game blurred quickly. Will, rattled, followed the final message's command. Come to the house on Richmond. Alone. No questions. There, he found Luna. The room was dim. A single candle. A phone camera rolling on a tripod. Luna wore white. Not the pure kinthus was performance art. She smiled at Will like they were in the middle of a romance novel, not a hostage scene. And then, she dropped the bomb. "You're going to tell the press we're together. You're going to say we've been dating. That I'm the one." Will backed away, confused and afraid. But Luna was ready. She played a recording audio from earlier phone calls, private ones, where Will had vented about his family, his resentment, his fears. She had recorded everything. "You'll say it," she told him, "or this goes public. Your father, your school, the world of Virion hears the real you." Within 48 hours, Will Spencer gave a statement to the press. "Yes, Luna and I are seeing each other. We're happy. I hope people will respect our privacy." The media exploded. Paparazzi circled Forrester and Spencer offices. Social media ran wild. The narrative quickly shifted from surprise couple to power move, with Luna painted as the alluring older woman who had captured the heart of the youngest Spencer heir. But those closest to her saw something else entirely. Lee Finnegan, Luna's and guardian, immediately sensed something was off. Luna hadn't contacted her. She hadn't even returned to her own apartment. Lee made calls, investigated. What she found was disturbing mistherapy sessions, cryptic purchases, long absences from any known address. And Will? He looked hollow in every photo, every public appearance. Lee cornered Luna backstage at a Forrester charity event. She didn't wait for cameras to stop rolling. "You need help," Lee snapped. "This isn't you. This is some twisted version of who you used to be. What are you doing to that boy?" But Luna didn't flinch. She smiled cold, composed, terrifying. "I'm just taking control," she said. "Isn't that what you always taught me?" That's when it happened. A reporter overheard. A boom mic dipped into the scene. Within an hour, footage of the confrontation leaked online. But it wasn't raw. It was edited. Sliced to paint Lee as an unstable, jealous relative trying to sabotage her niece's career and personal life. Luna came out looking poised, calm, even sympathetic. Lee, blindsided, tried to set the record straight. But the media machine had already chosen its narrative, and Luna fed it. She gave a tearful interview, claiming she had always felt like an outsider in her own family. That Will had been her rock during her struggles. That she hoped the world could let young love grow without interference. It was pure performance, every word rehearsed. But cracks began to show. In one viral clip from a behind-the-scenes promo shoot, eagle-eyed viewers noticed something strange. A moment so brief it was almost invisible. Luna was adjusting her dress mid-interview when a third hand not belonging to her or the stylist appeared in the corner of the frame, guiding her movements. Just a flicker. But it was enough to send the internet into conspiracy mode. Who was behind the camera? Who was feeding Luna these moves? Who was pulling the strings? The clip was nicknamed the third hand. Forums exploded. Reddit threads dissected every frame. Was it a secret PR handler? A controlling partner? A blackmailer? Speculation ranged from the outrageous to the disturbingly plausible. And then, the clip vanished, pulled from every major platform. Takedown notices issued. Only low-res screen captures remained. That's when people really started to panic. Will, meanwhile, was unraveling. The pressure, the lies, the isolation, it all took a toll. He stopped returning calls, missed meetings, canceled appearances. When Bill Spencer finally cornered his son for a heart-to-heart, Will broke down. "She scares me," he whispered. "I don't know how to get out." But he wasn't the only one trapped. Lee, trying to reclaim control of the situation, launched her own investigation. She traced Luna's online activity, hired a digital analyst. What they found was damning. Luna's phone had been cloned. Her financial records indicated regular payments to a dummy account traced back to a shell corporation that had ties to a former Forrester employee long thought gone. Someone was scripting this, coaching Luna, financing her. The final twist came in the form of a leaked voicemail. Luna's voice, hushed and shaky. "I did what you asked. I told him. I smiled. I cried." Now what? A pause. Then another voicemail, distorted. "Now we move to phase 2. And just like that, the story changed again. Luna wasn't acting alone. The entire affair, texts, the romance with Will, the media manipulation, the public breakdown of her relationship with Lai was part of something bigger. A campaign. A con. A game. But who was behind it? A vengeful ex? A disgraced executive? Someone trying to bring down Spencer and Forrester from within. The clip of the third hand was all anyone had. But in the world of the rich, the beautiful, and the powerful, one hand in the wrong place can change everything. And as Luna stared into the mirror that night, her makeup perfect, her eyes haunted, her phone buzzed again. "Unknown number. You did well. Get ready. No name. No context. Just control." She put the phone down and looked at her reflection. "Just a little longer," she whispered. Because somewhere in the shadows, someone was still pulling her strings, and Luna Nozoa had just become their most dangerous weapon. Paris returns to Forrester Creations, and everything explodes. Forrester Creations was already on the edge. Tensions from past scandals, wavering alliances, and lingering heartbreaks had created a fragile peace in the halls of fashion royalty. But when whispers began to circulate that Paris Buckingham might return, that fragile peace shattered into factions, secrets, and betrayal. Her name alone was enough to cut side-eyes and frantic whispers in the design wing. Paris wasn't just a social media darling with a fashion degree. She was the woman who walked away from love, ambition, and Forrester with a smirk, leaving behind confusion and unfinished business. Now she was back. And not for love. The studio splits. Paris didn't sneak in quietly. Her reappearance came with a press release, a strut down the Forrester runway in a tailored crimson power suit, and a title, Creative Director, Forrester Next Gen. Her return was presented as a power move to reinvigorate youth-forward fashion, but behind the scenes, everyone knew what this means. Simeon was losing ground, and that someone was Hope Logan. Hope had built Hope for the future from the ground up, navigating corporate politics, public scrutiny, and her complicated dynamic with Thomas Forrester. After everything they'd been through, his obsession, her forgiveness, their collaborative rebirth, Hope believed she had earned her place, her independence, her vision. But Paris wasn't interested in coexistence. She was interested in control. It started with meetings, private ones, meetings Hope wasn't invited to. Then came budget reallocations, streamlining initiatives, and finally, a public pitch to Eric and Ridge, merge Hope for the future into Next Gen under Paris's creative leadership. Hope was stunned. But more than that, was cornered. The conflict of interest, the optics were bad. Hope's influence over Thomas had always been a topic of gossip, but now it was ammunition. Paris floated the idea, ever so subtly, that Hope had been using Thomas's feelings to further her brand. That she had allowed their personal tension to cloud judgment. That she wasn't operating as a professional, but as a manipulator. Behind closed doors, the board whispered about conflicts of interest. Rich was torn. Brooke was livid. Steffi stayed unusually quiet, perhaps enjoying the show. And Thomas. He was split down the middle. Paris didn't waste time. She met with Thomas alone. No cameras, no PR spin, just her and him in a design room that had seen too many confessions. She reminded him that she once believed in him when no one else did. That she had stepped back gracefully when his heart pulled him elsewhere. Now, she said, he needed to do the same for the sake of the brand. Are you committed to Hope? She asked, eyes locked on his. Or are you committed to Forrester? It wasn't a question. It was a challenge. The proposition, and then came the bombshell. Paris called an executive meeting. Everyone expected more speeches, more political maneuvering. No one expected a proposal. She slid a sleek folder across the table to Hope. Inside was a contract and offer. Hope could stay at Forrester, yes, but not as creative lead. Not even as a designer. If she wanted to remain on the payroll, she would serve under Paris as her assistant. The room froze. It wasn't just insulting. It was strategic annihilation. Either Hope bowed out, taking her brand and dignity with her, or she accepted humiliation in real time. A Logan reduced to fetching coffee and fabric swatches for the woman who just gutted her legacy. Hope's hand trembled, but she didn't speak. Her eyes went to Thomas, who couldn't meet her gaze. Thomas's crossroads for Thomas. The moment felt like a cruel echo. He had clawed his way back into the company, into trust, into Hope's life. But now, he was watching her unravel. And he wasn't sure if he should catch her or let her fall. Paris knew this. She played the long game. Quiet lunches with Ridge. Strategic praise from Eric. Even a viral campaign positioning her as the new face of Forrester's future. She wasn't the villain in public, was the visionary. And Thomas. He was expected to pick a side. Hope pleaded with him, just once, in private. She asked him what they had been building, both creatively and personally. He hesitated. That was enough of an answer. The ring then, just when it seemed Paris had one, cameras caught something. A glint on her left hand. A ring. Speculation erupted. Was Paris engaged? To whom? Thomas. A secret investor. Was this a power alliance? Paris neither confirmed nor denied. She simply smiled when asked and said, sometimes the symbol is more important than the promise. But behind the scenes, something more sinister brewed. A costume designer later admitted the ring wasn't an engagement to Ken, it was a prop, originally used in a marketing shoot for a bridal campaign. Paris had taken it, worn it, staged it. Why? Because Paris wasn't chasing a fairy tale. She was orchestrating a takeover. The ring wasn't about love. It was about optics, power, perception, control. It worked. Investors relaxed, thinking stability was coming. Executives aligned, thinking a wedding meant longevity. But for Paris, it was all part of a strategy: buy time, consolidate control, and eliminate threats before revealing the truth. Hope's breaking point, with her options evaporating and her allies going silent, Hope finally exploded. In an untelevised boardroom showdown, she tore into the company's hypocrisy, the exploitation of her work, and the convenient amnesia everyone had adopted when it came to her role in saving the brand. She accused Paris of manipulation, of using diversity as a shield while enacting the coldest corporate power plays Forrester had seen in years. But no one stopped her. No one defended her. Even Brooke couldn't break through the silence. By week's end, Hope walked out, no official statement, no press release. Just a quiet exit, boxes in hand. Or so it seemed. The cliffhanger on the final shot of the episode. Paris stood on the balcony of the executive wing, sipping champagne. The ring on her hand glinted in the fading light. She looked out over the city, her city now, and smiled. Then her phone buzzed. A message. FROM, unknown phase 2. Her smile widened. She typed back, launch it, and just like that, Paris Buckingham proved what everyone had feared. She hadn't returned to Forrester for redemption, for love, or even for legacy. She had returned for power, and she was just getting started.